friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Today is kind of a happy ending to a problem that I've had recently. I just did a thing on my pet peeves, and was really riled up with a new discovery that all my games for the last few years that I've bought off Xbox Live Arcade I could no longer play offline. And that stemmed from an earlier rant that I did on pulling the plug, as we had to change our router and we were without any internet service for 5 hours or so. So I was able to test each of my consoles to see if I really could play the games offline like I thought I could. Well, one of the things I love about the gaming community, which is another rant that I did, is that the people are always there to help you out. If they see that you're in trouble or they see you don't know something, people are always willing to step forward and offer something of their knowledge, that perhaps they know something that you don't. And that's what's great, is we all can overlap with our knowledge of games or systems or computer software, what have you. Well, I woke up the next morning and one of my good friends, Adrian, who's friends with me on Facebook, who also has a wonderful YouTube channel with very thought-provoking rants, much like my own. In fact, he's probably one of the closest friends I have that is aligned with my way of thinking, especially towards modern gaming and a lot of the gripes and complaints and even the joys that we have with gaming. And I'll leave a link to his channel down below. But I woke up and he put something right on my Facebook and says, "Look, Dean, you might have a solution that'll help you to be able to have those games back." And he had an official Microsoft link, and I'm going to post that link down below in the descriptions. And it shows you how you can, apparently, if you transfer, because I thought because I had an official license, transfer cable, and I went from one of the older 250 gig hard drives on the 2009 Xbox Elite. Then I got one of the new Xbox 360Es that had one of the newer hard drives in it with a 320 gig. So I used the official license transfer cable and transferred over all of my avatars, and I thought I was all my themes and my games and Xbox Live games as installs and save games. So I just assumed that you had all of that, forever. But that's not necessarily the case. Apparently there's some licensing issue, and Mark Verger was 100% right when he said, "Dean, I don't know if you know this, but there's certainly a licensing issue with those games. And don't think that they're yours forever. They may be linked to a licensing deal with Microsoft." So when I went in and actually tried them, I could see the beginning opening of each of my little games as I clicked on them, but they were actually trials. If you go offline, you'll still see all the games that were there, but you can only play them as a trial, like a part of a level or something, which I didn't know until I actually tried it. And man, was I pissed to find out that I spent I had all these games. I thought I had bought 25 games when in fact I went back through and discovered I had quite a few more over the years. Some of them I completely had forgotten about, didn't even know that they were there. So, and I'll have like I said, a link below for that. And it's a simple process. You just simply go to settings on your Xbox 360. You go down to there's a box that says accounts or account. You click on that, and then there's a licensing, transfer, button you can click on, and you just follow the simple step, and it's really easy. But then what you have to do is you have to take the time to re-download each of those games, which I had already wiped them clean from my hard drive anyways. I was pissed off. I said, "Well, I'm interested in having these demos taking up space in my hard drive." So I just deleted every one of the games. And within their instructions, they said that the way you can see what you'd like to re-download is that you can just go back into, again, you go to settings, you go to account. Within account, not only do you see there's a button for transferring your licenses, so you can have all of those Xbox Live Arcade games and your background themes too, which is another thing that I discovered. Because I know when I got my new Xbox 360, I lost a lot of my themes that I had when I went offline. There were only a couple that I had, and I was confused as to why I could play some of those games. Like I could play the Call of Duty Classic. No, I'm sorry, not Call of Duty Classic. I could play Far Cry Classic, Crisis, SSX. It was just a couple, like 4 games that for some reason I was able to play, but yet I couldn't play all the older games that I bought. I was really confused by that. And the reason being is because those were games and things that I had downloaded, like a free with gold program. So when I first got my Xbox 360E, I still had that, Games with Gold program. My Gold thing still had a few months left in it. So I downloaded a few games, and the games that I bought and or downloaded, once I bought the new E, those ones were licensed to that console. That's why I could play them, which I didn't know. But all of the other games that I had bought that were licensed through my original 2009 Xbox 360 Elite, which I sent to my good friend Mikey. He sold his so he could buy a PS4 when it came out at launch, as a lot of people did. And he felt bad because he loves to display, gameplay on his channel. He says, God, one of these days, if I can get the money, I'd love to get another Xbox 360. I said, well, dude, just here, I'll give you mine. It's like a brand new condition. I have put a lot of miles on it, but it works great, even the original controller, everything. So I packed it up in the original box and styrofoam, and I mailed it to him back east, and he's utilizing it now for his show. I'll have a link below for his wonderful channel. The guy has great gameplay, plays like every game under the sun. Hundreds, I think he's 600, or I don't know how many videos, hundreds of videos of every game you can think of from, every era of, from the old games, Super NES and Genesis and PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them, and the Xbox games as well. So I sent him, that console. I didn't think I'd really have a need for it. I didn't know that all my licenses were tied to that one. So thanks to some good friends in the community, and I had a couple other people after the fact that saw that video and said, "Oh, Dean, I think you can, you can change or switch your licenses over. You might want to check into that." So I want to thank everyone that was kind enough to try to steer me in the right direction, and that's one of the things that I love about the gaming community is that everyone's there to help each other out, which I think is so wonderful. So thank all of you, and especially Adrian that put this very descriptive link and instructions on my Facebook page, so I was able to try it out and see if it worked, and it does indeed work. It took me all day Saturday and most of Sunday and late Sunday night to get them all. But what's neat is you go into your settings, you go into account, and then right below the license transfer thing it says download history. You click on that, and you can see from starting with the most recent purchases going all the way back to when you first had your very first Xbox 360. It shows every single thing that you've bought, every piece of DLC, every theme, every little outfit for your little avatar on the Xbox 360. Any videos and game trailers, things that you downloaded, anything that from the Xbox store that you bought, including all the wonderful Xbox Live Arcade games, it's all there in the chronological order in which you bought them. And I could see, God, I spent a fortune on like Forza 4, all the cars and the packs and all of the DLC for, games like LA Noire and Mafia 2. I have all of that DLC. So what I did is I went through and did the games first. I don't know if the DLC was under that deal or not, but just in case I went through and picked out my favorite DLC and then re-downloaded it just to be on the safe side. So I invested a lot of time doing this transfer, but it works. I'm happy to say it works. So I had actually more than 25. I've got 32 games back, including even the game Black, which I forgot that I had bought, God, years ago. And they have a few, and I got the original Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell. So they have a few wonderful original Xbox games. So instead of it being backwards compatible, we can actually put the disc in. You can have the entire game in HD formatted for your Xbox 360. So I was delighted to get my game Black back on there, and Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell. And I got so many. Of course, I got my wonderful Call of Juarez back, my Hydro Thunder game back, which I absolutely love. One of my favorite arcade games. Russian Attack and Bionic Commando Rearmed, and just so many games I had forgotten about. Because when I switched consoles, I was at a point where I was running out of room on the 250 gig one, and I just said, you know what, I played these arcade games. They were fun, but I want more room for more installed games. So I was like deleting tons of things, and I forgot about them. So it was nice to get them all back, including there were some other like games with gold, like the whole game Dead Island. Well, where Dead Island had so many horrendous issues and has one of the most hellacious patches ever made for an Xbox 360 game, I said, you know, it'd be kind of nice to have the updated working Dead Island game. So I went ahead and downloaded the entire game of Dead Island. Now I also had like Tomb Raider and Sleeping Dogs and other games that I had downloaded within that hard drive off that same program, Games with Golds, as well. But now that I'm playing those games, on a better platform, on the PS2 with better graphics and frame rates and everything, I just went ahead and deleted those games. But even after deleting several games that I have duplicates of, even Metro, Last Light, ones like those, I still have 32 wonderful Xbox Live Arcade games. The original Doom, got my Duke Nukem games back, so it's so cool. I'm really happy. Thank you so much, Adrian. You're a real lifesaver. So it was one of those happy endings. It's just nice to have a happy ending to something that was a terrible pet peeve. Kind of like the stickers. I mean, stickers are a pain in the ass, but in the end, you make something positive out of it, so other people can learn from you in your frustration, which is one of the things I love about the gaming community that is so wonderful. It's so kind to one another. And yeah, we can be assholes at times and be trolls and fuck with each other, unnecessarily. But for the most part, I find it's a very positive experience filled with wonderful guys and gals that really care about gaming and care about helping out in the community, which is what it's all about. So if you're interested in preserving a lot of your investments that you've paid for within your Xbox 360, check out that link down below. Of course, I will say that I don't know what's going to happen down the road when Xbox, Live goes off, when they stop supporting the Xbox 360 and you're unable to do this link for the license transfers. That might be it. So if that hardware breaks or goes, there goes all your games with it, I would imagine. So even if you transferred the hard drive, I don't think that even if you put it in another machine, you probably would lose all those because they're all linked to that machine. That's how the licensing thing works, if I'm correct, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comments. But so what I'm thinking of doing now, I have a new plan because I put so many games on there and it kind of took up so much space within my 320 gig hard drive. I'm going to keep this new Xbox 360E, which I've barely used, and it works beautiful. And I'm just going to keep that system just for my Xbox Live Arcade games, as well as games like Dead Island, or DLC-heavy games like I've got Aliens Colonial Marines with tons of DLC and the Stasis Interrupted, extra missions and stuff. XCOM Declassified, the Bureau, quite a few games. Even my Duke Nukem Forever game is installed on there, along with the Spy Who, the Spy Who Cloned Me, or whatever it's called. I'm going to go ahead and keep my heavy DLC games like Forza 4, Forza Horizon, all of those games I'm going to keep in play on that particular Xbox 360E model. Then I want to go out and buy another brand new 500 gigabyte Xbox 360E, and on that one I'll install all my other Xbox 360 games, either ones that have DLC or not, and then make sure I have all the patches with them, so that one will, it'll have to be under a different, name, different sign-on name. But that way at least I'll have two Xbox 360s. One will be allocated just for playing games off from disk, which I'll install on there to save wear and tear on the machine and play those. And then if I want to play my Xbox 360, arcade games off Xbox Live Arcade, or the ones that are completely installed, like my SSX, or the wonderful, Call of Juarez Gunslinger, then I can play those on the other machine. So that's my plan anyway, to try to preserve my Xbox 360 games for years and years. And because I'm dispersing my time amongst all my consoles now, I'm not putting all the wear and tear just on one, like my other older Xbox 360. I mean, that thing was on morning, noon, and night, streaming Netflix, playing games. Even you could do Facebook on it at one time, and YouTube, everything. So I kind of put a lot of miles on it, and it still works great, which is a testament to the newer Xbox 360s and how well they are made. So anyway, I hope you found this is interesting. It was just like a nice little positive thing I thought I'd throw out there. I was delighted to see that I could still have and maintain all those games. I was devastated to think that I'd never play Call of Duty Classic, or the Call of Juarez Gunslinger again, and so many other games that I absolutely love. Duke Nukem Manhattan Project and Duke Nukem 3D, all of those are wonderful Xbox Live Arcade games. They're just so great to finally have back, and I got tons of them now, so I'm really excited about that. So thank you very much for watching, and no matter what they are, enjoy your games.